So hi there again, and today I'm going to talk to you about basically what I'm doing with my 3D printing at the moment. So it's very exciting for me because I've got over there, as I can see, as the crow flies, a 3D printer, and I was thinking that I was gonna have to get a really expensive one, but this is called a one how duplicator i3. So I was going to get one called an original Prusa, which is £700 as a kit, but it was going to take 7 weeks to order because they've got a backlog or something. So I thought, oh shoot, what shall I do? So I took a chance and got this printer. So far, it's still working, and it's got a good user base, so it's fairly promising, and the prints are quite good. So let's go to the first stuff that I'm doing. Excuse me, and you might know these, you might have seen these if you follow my work. And these are the futuristic Highland Cows. Yeah. And these are just in white PLA. Ooh, excuse me. White PLA. And they are just done on my printer. So hopefully it's focusing. I think if I do that, does it focus? Does it focus? I've seen someone doing that on YouTube. Anyway, so I've got about 8 of these so far. I'm gonna get 20. I'm gonna get some XTC. It's called XTC, and it's basically by Smooth On. And there's 2 bottles, and there's a small bottle and a big bottle. And I guess the small bottle's a catalyst for all you more scientific people out there. And you rub the two. You put the big bottle, 2 amounts of the big bottle with the small bottle, and you mix it for a bit, and then you paint it on your 3D models, and that will my term I've probably made up here, it's called decontourize. Yeah, so when you get 3D prints on fairly cheap additive layer 3D printers, they have contour lines. Yeah, the XTC will make kind of a varnish over it, and it'll smooth it. Then you can sand it, and then after that I'm gonna airbrush these little cows. So these are the futuristic Highland Cows. Why am I making futuristic Highland Cows? Well, I've got the Maker Faire, which is on, I have to be careful here, the 16th of April 2017, because I just did this screencast and I had to do it again because I realized that I said 2016. It's amazing how time is flying, isn't it? Okay, so that's the Highland Cow, and that's going to be finished. So I've got 8 of those so far. Right. Another thing I was printing last night is part of my 3Z Universe blog. So every week, you should check it out if you haven't already. It's like every week I try my best to get one artwork done based on my 3Z Universe. So I started off the 3Z Universe in Iceland. I did a spaceship, and you can see that on my website. And that was when I was doing an art residency in Isafjorda, which is in the northwest of Iceland. Really interesting place. And because it's got a fab lab, a fabrication lab, if you don't know what that is, look it up. You can make anything you want, almost anything you want. So you can make almost anything you want up there, or you can make it here or wherever, or in Africa. As long as it's got all the tools that you need, that the fab lab recommends, you can prototype lots of things. And I come from the angle that I really like science fiction. I really like movies, like Blade Runner. I was actually just talking to someone about some ideas that I have for this 3Z universe. And the thing is, what I really like about Fab Labs, and especially 3D printing, is that we can make little props. Because I was looking at, if you look up, excuse me, I'm out of breath. It must be the podcast, but I'll blame it on that. Not a podcast. What am I talking about? I swear, I gave up caffeine 2 months ago. I swear my brain has slowed down. Right, so anyway, what the hell, what was I talking about? Okay, yeah, Blade Runner, right? So if you look at Blade Runner models, is the IO9 site, there's some other sites, but it shows you all the cool models that they made for Blade Runner. Really inspiring. And now that we can 3D print 3D graphics, we can make really good models, a bit like Blade Runner people did, and then paint them. Arguably, you could say, why not just keep doing it in 3D graphics? Well, you know, I've been doing 3D graphics for quite a while, 1999, and I always find it gets to a point where it sort of restricts me. And I like to almost make it analog. If you check out, there's a really good piece by somebody called Gleb Alexandrov about post-production. So he's a really good 3D artist, and he actually uses Blender, by the way. So all those people that don't like Blender, he's really good, and it basically shows you how to take an image, post-process it in Photoshop or GIMP, and make it look more analogy, which is a really good thing. And again, with 3D prints, you can do lots of stuff. So immediately, if you shine a light on it, that brightness of light would be tricky to do in 3D graphics. You can still do it; it would take longer, but just to give it that realistic effect, And I'd also argue for you to check out Blade Runner, and if you haven't seen it before, because it's going back a while now. We're all moving onwards onwards and upwards in the time. So some of you might be too young even to remember it, and it's a really good film. And I argue that the effects in it are awesome, and they're probably better than a lot of CGI. But it's the workman, not the tools. But it's what you prefer. If you like CGI, by all means do CGI. But I'm getting to the stage where I just really, really love what you can do with 3D printing. So that's my 3Z blog. And this is just this looks like a lollipop. I'm going to paint it yellow with sort of dirt and stuff, because it's part of this kind of, it's like not porticao, an industrial crate. Yeah, I swear it's giving up coffee. Don't start coffee. If you're drinking coffee, perhaps think about having 1 cup a day. I can't have 1 cup a day. It turns into 4. So anyway, so it's like a industrial crate structure, and it's got funky stuff. So you'll see that soon. If you're watching this after I've done this vlog, in a week or 2, or even more in the future, I should have done that or got that done. And anyway, so that's that. And that again, it's making components. So this snaps together. I'm going to put an LED light inside this, so it's going to really shine nicely. Let's just try. No, it's a bit too bright there. Yeah, you can sort of see. Yeah. But anyway, it's gonna look good, I think. And then the last 3Z blog that I did was this, accompanying artwork. It was this. So it was this man, and the man was made with the free, really good open source program called Make Human, and that's an awesome program. I mean, you can get figures and stuff, and you can adjust the head shape, the eyes, really detailed as well. It's a bit like Poser, if you've ever used Poser, but it's free. And then you export it, and then I exported it, and then I added these components like the backpack. The painting is not really a lot of model maker painters. If you're looking, you probably won't be too impressed, and I get to a stage where I think, right, I'm not going to spend too long on this. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to see how it looks when it's photographed, and then I can post-process it. Because the final work with me, although I'd like to get some more finished models, and I'm looking into ways to do that. I'm looking at some really interesting sites, going a bit like going back to my childhood and learning how to paint models again, which is strange to think if you're an artist, but it's a good skill. So anyway, so that's that. And this is the artwork that accompanies them, because he's a sort of man trying to check out the network links in this futuristic world. This is the, whoops, I've just touched something and it's all gone down. Okay, hopefully that's fine. This is, am I recording? I just thought, shoot, did I actually press record? Anyway, this is the radome part of it. Yeah? So this is a radome tower, and I really like the band, well, the group Boards of Canada. Then they're actually from Scotland. They're not from Canada, but I think one of them grew up in Canada. And as many of you know, I spent some time in Canada and also go to the US a lot. And I really like the big landscapes and the cool sort of stuff like this. We get this in the UK as well. There's a few antennas and things near where I live, because I live near Fastlane, which is the nuclear deterrent of Britain, and the submarines have nukes in them. So it's not a good place to be if World War III comes. I'll have to cycle north. So anyway, if you can get hold of this book, by the way, this is a really good book. It's called Infrastructure, the Book of Everything for the Industrial Landscape by Brian Hayes. I did try to look, I did try to look for it on Amazon, but I'm not sure if it's in publication anymore, and I'm not selling this. It's really good. It basically has loads and loads and loads of antennas, everything in the engineering universe. And the thing I really like about it is that it's all American stuff. So it's like big scale, huge stuff, you know, in North America and Canada, most of the photographs, because it's an American author. It's none of this Little Britain kind of stuff. But having said that, we do have some cool dome structures in the UK. I can't really explain why I like to add things like this into my art, but there is a certain aesthetic that with engineering, it's like futuristic. It almost goes back to, if you know, the Futurists, who were an Italian group of artists that were obsessed with the future, and I think that their reason is it's like future technology and everything like that. And I like to see the future as positive, you know, so we can influence our futures. We can't influence our past, so, you know, in all ways. So we can, the way we're thinking, the way we're advancing, what we're going to do, and how society's going to be, and also what we can do. We can wake up tomorrow and have fish and chips for breakfast and pizzas, or we can have a power juice, and arguably, some people might like the pizzas, but the power juice is perhaps better for you in the long run. Who knows? I'm not a doctor. So that's all the 3D prints for today. I'm going to do a lot more. I'm going to get my 3D printer on the go again tomorrow, and I'm going to print this latest like industrial crate housing unit, because that's where the sort of poor people live in this 3Z universe, while the rich people fly. You know, they're in the flying city, which you can see on my website. So before I run out of breath, I think it's because it's nearly 12 at night, so I'm tired. I'll ask you to please share this, like this, comment. If you like my work, you can buy some of my work. You can also support me on Patreon, so you get some work that way as well. Whoops. Patreon. Better be careful with my hand signals. Patreon, Bitcoin, donate, buy some of my art. Or if you don't want to do that, you can leave a comment here, or you can like it, you can dislike it, whatever you want. Just always interesting to hear from people, whatever your views. So thanks very much, and have a good day, or evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now. Bye from Scotland.